When I started 15 years ago, I was going to be the person who would so effectively communicate that there wouldn't any longer be this immediate, you hear the words Planned Parenthood, you think abortion. Instead, you would think about those preventive health services, and that we're actually the mission that does more to reduce abortion than any other organization. You do that with education, access to birth control, fewer unintended pregnancies, fewer abortions. But as much as I've tried, sometimes day in and day out, till I'm hoarse, I can't sit here and say that I've actually moved that needle. I would say that the single biggest difference is just the political landscape, and that every single day it seems there's a challenge, whether it's in Kentucky or it's in Indiana, or it's almost every day these days on the Hill in DC, that we see attacks against birth control access and funding, and the willingness to overlook that with Affordable Care Act and Title X funding, 4 million Americans could lose their health care coverage for essential things like STD testing and treatment and Pap tests and birth control. Indiana was the first state where the legislature decided to defund, and we of course went through the lawsuit, prevailed. Those same arguments are happening day in and day out on the Hill. We see those arguments in both the state legislatures in Indiana and Kentucky, and it just makes no sense to me that they think it makes sense in public health policy to unplug persons from vital, essential reproductive health services. Cervical cancer has gone way down in those areas where women can avail themselves of that service. But if you look at Eastern Kentucky, there's a horrible morbidity rate around cervical cancer, and that just shouldn't happen. It's tough to feel like you're radioactive and just always surrounded by controversy. And of course, we place a great deal of importance on compliance and medical protocols and all those sorts of things. But if you look around, it's probably true that nobody lives under quite the microscope that we do. The woman who is going to be president and CEO of Planned Parenthood of Indiana and Kentucky, starting on July 1, Christy Gillespie, she is a great selection. She loves that mission so much, and it's heart and soul and core for her, and she will be there and she will keep these doors open. Well, I joke that I'm going to water my tomatoes, and I am going to water my tomatoes. I am really ready to just not have any plans right now.